Hi, very warm welcome to Wellbeing Mission Control. I'm delighted you could join me on this slightly cloudy day. It's quite warm, it's beautiful. And let's talk a little bit more about the importance of self-healing because it's very difficult to actually get much beyond adolescence without encountering emotional stress, trauma, heartbreak, the kind of events that can leave quite a deep impression on a subconscious. It's hard to get out of adolescence without that feeling that you've had your heart broken. And it's amazing how these episodes can leave a lasting impression on how we deal with life and how we deal with other people. Now, here's the simple fact. Because of the nature of human relationships, we are bound to be disappointed at some point in our lives, probably on several occasions. People have this unique ability to just disappoint us, to perhaps sometimes even betray us. Life is full of these stories. And if we're talking about healing as a vital component for improving the quality of life, I've got a very simple suggestion for you today that you might want to try on for size. Let's start by understanding that carrying around the anger, the hurt, the pain, the anguish, the fear that such a thing could happen again just degrades the quality of life. But the moment that you can find it in your heart to let go, everything changes. And one of the ways we can do that is learning to forgive. Now, so many religions and philosophies lay great emphasis on the power of forgiveness, but I want to explore this a little more deeply because it's a slightly controversial issue. I wanted to imagine what it would be like, for instance, if somebody came to you and said, "Oh, it's okay, I forgive you." That doesn't always sit very well with us, but there is a radical difference when we approach someone where we've had difficulties and we ask for forgiveness. And this is the kind of distinction that can make a very powerful contribution to your sense of well-being. Giving forgiveness is something that I think works when it happens internally. When we extend forgiveness from our hearts, we don't actually need to hang up a sign advertising our change of feeling or change of heart. It can be more harmful than helpful. But in deciding that, people do foolish things, we do foolish things, we make terrible mistakes, we cause pain and hurt and upset. It's part of the human condition. And understanding that we do these things, perhaps not deliberately, but the results are pretty much the same, helps us to understand that other people are following similar patterns of behavior. People are doing the same things that we do. And in that spirit of understanding, of seeing that in many ways the way that we consider others is just an extension of how we see ourselves. The way we feel about the people around us is often based on the internal foundations, the emotional structure of your own heart. It helps us to be perhaps a little more forgiving, and may I use the word a little more understanding of what drives people. Do we really expect people to be perfect? I think sometimes we do. And when they behave like any other human being, we feel disappointed. They haven't lived up to our expectations. If your life is going to improve, we have to let go of the past. You might not want to put a full page ad out saying, "I forgive you." There's an awful lot of ego in that statement. But if you can let go and say, "I understand," if you can break the habit of blaming and accusing and feeling the hurt and just the anger about perhaps the way you were treated, sometimes even the injustice, by forgiving them, you find that you can perhaps discover a deeper peace. One of the expressions that I learned a long time ago was this notion of positive indifference. And I wanted to share that with you very briefly today. I think in our world, indifference indicates that we don't care. Positive indifference helps us to decide if our reaction is helping or hindering. We can complain bitterly about problems in the world, but it doesn't help, it doesn't make a difference, apart from degrading the quality of our own energy and our creativity. Positive indifference allows me to say, my reaction doesn't help, but if I can make a difference, then I will do something to make a positive contribution to the situation. Otherwise, I'm going to focus on that internal peace and tranquility that helps me to understand things more clearly without the emotional filters that get in the way of our understanding. When we talk about forgiveness, perhaps we should be a little more practical and make sure that people who have the habit of repeating the same unfortunate behaviors towards you should perhaps be treated with more caution. You're free to say, I don't need this in my life. I don't need to have people around me who are destructive or so selfish or whatever words you want to use, but they seemingly willfully degrade the quality of their lives and the lives of the people around them. Give yourself permission to have space and distance without the anger, without the hatred. It's a kind of positive indifference. We don't feel angry about these people. We're just not going to continue to maintain a relationship with people who may be destructive or harmful towards your progress. Now, that's an enormous amount of material to touch on in just a few minutes, so I would always welcome your feedback, your comments and suggestions. These are not the right answers, by the way. They're just suggestions, guidelines for you to think about and consider putting into practice to see if they work for you. I trust your judgment. You're bound to come up with the right ideas sooner or later. We all do. Some of us take longer than others, of course. That's just the way humans are. And being a little more understanding and accepting and even forgiving can make the journey a lot easier. Let me know what you think. Now, this is going to be an incredibly hot, sunny day. The sun is really struggling to break through, and I really hope you can feel its warmth in your heart as I wish you the most wonderful day. I'll be back with you soon. Bye for now.